Hi everybody, it's Michael. Welcome to New Victory Gardening. Hope everyone's doing well. I brought you into my little kitchen here just to show something. It's maybe not a like a focus of this channel. This channel is more outside and gardening, but in several instances I might come in or do something a little different, and so we got a little different flavor for today. And I mean flavor intentionally. This is the wine from the grapes that I harvested in a previous video, and so I wanted to show a process for bottling this and maybe do a little taste test, and we can talk about New Victory Gardening, and we can talk about why I would show a video like this instead of just staying out in the garden. So I'll show you, let's run through a couple things right quick. First things first is all the bottling stuff. So I usually use my dishwasher, so I'll run the cycle, and when the dishwasher's clean, it's easy. What's in this what do you call this thing? A sprayer? Yeah, it's called a sprayer. So what's in this little sprayer down here is an acid sanitizer, and so it's a sanitizer meant for beer and wine making, to sanitize your bottles. And so I do a cycle in the dishwasher. When it's clean, I take the dishes out, and then I spritz it down with the acid sanitizer, and then I sanitize my bottles and containers that I'm going to be putting whatever it is I'm bottling for the day. And so today what's on the ticket is wine, and I'm going to bottle the wine 3 ways. First, I'm going to bottle it into 22-ounce bottles, right? So kind of what you get from the store, and you can see is a 22-ounce bottle. It's a beer bottle. It's actually what we would consider to be used for beer, but you can bottle anything into it because it's a glass bottle and it's non-reactive. And the second that I have here is a little mini keg. It works well for wine because wine doesn't accumulate any pressure, and you can just dispense. So if you wanted a family style, you could take this and put it in your refrigerator or wine cooler, or just set it out on the counter, and you could dispense from this. I got hung up, hold on. You could dispense from this, you know, maybe a glass a night. It's funny, you shouldn't make wine if you have a drinking problem. You should make beer if you have a drinking problem, because you make it in 5-gallon batches usually. And so for me, I try to temper myself back. I don't drink on Sundays, and I drink, you know, a glass a night, or maybe 2. 2 for me is a lot now, and I'll do that maybe 3 times a week. If I start to drink more than that, I'll take notice, because you just have the stuff around and you don't want to make a habit of drinking it. But anyway, last but not least, my wife was kind enough to buy me a growler. And a growler is a larger, it was once again meant for beer, but you can store, since it's in stainless steel, it's not. Okay, let us get started. I changed my mind. I was going to use my transfer pump, but then I thought, you know what, there's a simpler and easier way of doing it so that you don't have to spend money on transfer pumps and piping and work with all of that. And so I'll just use that way today. And it's strangely enough, because it's all around us, and it's very easy to take for granted, right? You know what it's called? It's called gravity. And so the design of this fermenter is to let the sediment go to the bottom and to stay largely clear. And so yeah, we'll just use gravity today to bottle, and I'll demonstrate that. So first things first, let me go in. Let me grab. Before, when I first started doing this, you know, I would have little panic attacks. This is the airlock I'm removing. Simple, straightforward airlock, and I've used for years. And so if you wanted to really keep things clean, like I have this moist paper towel, you could just kind of stuff this moist paper towel in the top so that nothing might get in or fall in while you're bottling, but it's usually not an issue. I have a spigot here on purpose, and I can take a small sampling. I used to get really concerned because there we go. So I used to get really concerned because of the temperature, like at which this stuff was all being made and produced. And so I'm gonna show this. Pretty good. Maybe I could run it through a little filter, or you could use a clarifier. I don't really like using clarifiers though. Sometimes they could leave a residual like in your bottle. And so if nature will do it for me, that's like my preference, or else you have just a slight cloudiness to your wine. And also when you put it in the bottle and you get it down to temperature, some of the rest of the yeast will settle out, and then you'll have a crystal clear wine. But this is very clear. Okay, so let me, yeah, she's young. Yeah, she's young. It's funny. I wouldn't expect these sorts of things from this sort of wine, right? Trying to get you a look at it. Hopefully you can see it. But I wouldn't expect these sorts of things from a Muscat grape wine. Yeah, kind of unique. It's not like what you get at the store, that's for sure. All of a sudden, you make a thing of wine and you become a wine connoisseur and stuff, right? I'm not a wine connoisseur. I'm gonna put it in the refrigerator. I'm not even made enough of wine to call myself a wine maker. I feel like I'm getting lucky whenever I make the wine. But okay, so that's funny. But anyway, at this point, you don't want a lot of oxygen contact with this wine. If you can bottle it with minimal oxygen contact, that's what you would prefer to do. So I'm gonna go into these growlers first, and actually, give me just a second. I'll get a thing that I have. I think that'll help. I have a bottler. Let me sanitize this. And it still works. Okay. Great thing about getting the right acid sanitizer is it works. That's the first rule, right? I should say I've already washed my hands too. But then you just count down a minute basically, and it'll be done. So let's count down a minute right quick. Alrighty. This works. Oh, you just roll it on here. I try to go up as far. I've had this thing for so long. Get a nice good seal. That way, there's a gnat already. Here's my fan to blow him away. You see what I'm saying? These little small bugs here, you can come calling. Keep anything that might be in here that you can see or not see out, because you don't want them to ruin your day. Check your bottle. Okay. So how this works is you open up the spigot. Some fluid's gonna start to come down. Fill up your bottler. Right, now you can leave it open. You don't have to worry about closing the spigot, and you can just go about your bottling process by pressing it on the bottom. So I think each one of these growlers holds half a gallon. We like to use it because if we have guests, this is a perfect size for that. If you wanted to make a sangria or a summer drink, this is a perfect size to use as your base, right? So there's a hint. You may not be the best winemaker in the world. You make passable wines. That's okay. Because you can mix this wine. So The great thing about it and why I recommend it is because you can make it yourself, and you can use it various ways. So you can make sangria with it. You can mix it with fruit drinks or other things. You can, do variety of stuff. Whatever your imagination will produce, you can do with this wine. And it saves you because you don't have to buy wine. It's one less thing to buy, right? New Victory Gardening concept. If things goes bad, you're resilient, right? You don't have to buy everything. You can produce some things right at your place, right? Including things that can make life passable in a difficult time, right? That's the point of the channel. That's why I'm sitting here today talking with you. That is why I'm in my little kitchen, because you don't have to have a huge kitchen to do this. You can make use of with what you got. I need to renovate this kitchen. This thing is next on my list for renovation. And so here I am. And that is one bottle. Gravity worked pretty good, huh? Who would have thought gravity works pretty good, huh? Okay, one growler down. I think I'm gonna do growler, bottles, and growler, bottles. When you have it like this, a good thing too is the inside of the bottle is what's most important, right? That making sure that that's clean. And I'm in the wind. So the great thing about this bottler is I'm not exposing the wine to oxygen. When it's fermenting, you want to expose it to oxygen, right? After it's fermented, after the wine is made, you don't want to expose it to oxygen. You want to minimize its exposure to oxygen. And so when I bottle this way, it minimizes the exposure. And as the fluid goes into this bottle, it pushes most of the oxygen out of the bottle because it's filling from the bottom, and it just makes for a better bottling. And you see, it doesn't take very long, and it's not very difficult or bad or anything. And so here we go. We'll do these two growlers, and I want to demonstrate a bottle for you. And almost there. I really like growlers. I didn't know that I liked them. My wife just bought them for me as a gift, and turns out they're excellent. I really like them, and I'm so happy she got it because it's versatile. You don't only have to store beer in it. You can store other things like wine or kombucha or any other beverage that you might be like wanting to store in the fridge, I like having containers around that I can use for storage. And so that's what's great about this, right? Okay, lovely. So that's number 2, and I'm getting my workout today. All this bending over and getting up, I'm getting my full workout on, so I won't have to go to the gym. That part is handled. Okay, so those are the growlers. I've just bottled something to the tune of a gallon of wine. Just took a couple minutes. For me, I like to check my bottles to make sure they're clean, even though I cleaned them because there's no going back. And so with the bottle, it's the same concept. Put it on your bottling apparatus, or I could just turn this knob and go straight in, but that's not as good as this because, like I said, bottling from the bottom, it minimizes the contact with oxygen. And so even with other drinks, when they're at this point and they've been made, you don't want oxygen contact, And so, okay, so bottles go a lot faster, as you can see. So that's one bottle. And I'm gonna go ahead and bottle the rest, and then we'll do a wrap up, and I think that'll be a video today, huh? I hope this is meaningful for folks. If you have questions, I have been making beer and doing this as a hobby for more than 10 years now, but I just don't proclaim to be an expert. I am not an expert. I've read books, you know, I've created recipes and made some things. I've shared it with people, and they've, you know, given me positive feedback or pointers for how I could do things better. And so I've kind of been around the block, but I am not an expert at this. But I will field questions. Ask any reasonable question, or if you're, especially if you're thinking about getting into this, like, or giving it a try. Like, there's pretty inexpensive ways that you can, like, give this a try to see if it's something that you like. And if you like it, then you just grow into it. Like, literally, I always pray for people that want to get into this kind of stuff, that you have that successful first batch, right? So within a beer or two or a wine or two, you make something that's good. It may not be the best, but it's good enough to drink, right? And so you have that one success that you can then build off of as you grow. And, you know, my goal would be to have people who know how to do this and who have fruits, and they can make wine and vinegar. And if the time comes, we can all share, you know? I don't sell this stuff. I'm not looking to sell this stuff. That wasn't the concept back during World War II, and it's not going to be the concept if we have difficult times now, right? I won't for the most part be looking to sell. I'll be looking instead to trade or to give this away so that it's a blessing to people, and it may help them forget, you know, hard times. And that's what we're preparing for. That's why I'm doing the channel, so that we're in practice and we're ready. And so, all right, enough talking. Let me get to bottling. Oh. Okay, everybody, I got the bottles full, and I just filled up this little mini keg here. And you'll see my fermenter is not totally empty. It has some yeast in it, and that yeast that had settled out, that's what makes your wine cloudy. I kind of stabilized the wine, and then that settled out. You always leave a little bit at the bottom so that you're not grabbing too much of that yeast. So I don't know, it bothers some people more, but you know, from my perspective and in my opinion, you probably don't want to drink that yeast. It won't harm you, but let's put it, you may have an uncomfortable evening or day. Like, it may cause some stomach upset and rumbling, you know, but otherwise, you know, it's all edible. So, okay, last step, and let me make sure I got my stuff. Last step is put the bottle caps on. And so this is the easiest way. I have a couple ways, but this is like more satisfying. Like I said, when you bottle, you don't have to go to the gym. Like, I'm serious. You'll get your exercise for the day just from doing the bottling. Oh, that sounds like that's my wife. Hold on. Wash my hands here. Let me wash my hands here. I like to wash my hands while I'm doing this, just to be sure I didn't get anything on them or any dust. Okay. Hold on. That's my wife. And so, all right, let me get to the bottling. No, come on in, honey. I was waiting for you. Come stand next to me. My wife came. She made it back. And so this is Thelma, everybody. I had, put the peels away. We don't need peels. Here's the wine. Yeah, that's water. So I had already tasted it. I was gonna let her taste it as well.
It smells good.
So to me, this is just an okay batch, but as you can see, you get my opinion and hers. Okay, that's it, honey, huh? That's it. I didn't put enough for you. I didn't put enough to drink. I just put enough to sample.
That tastes good.
Okay, see, I told y'all. That's to me, it's passable. You can drink it, you can offer it, and people won't spit it out. But my wife verifies, because she wouldn't tell a lie at all. She's a truthful person. If it tastes bad, she just wouldn't have said nothing. Okay, so I just washed my hands, and so for bottling these caps, This is actually the most likely place that you'll have there will be some spoilage, right? And so I'm always careful. You know, I sanitize these caps, and I make sure that the top edge, like the drinking edge of the bottle, is sanitized well, so that you know, these caps seal on well, and there's no any potential source of contamination will like not happen. It'll be killed away or killed out. And so that's the only time like I've had a batch. Like imagine having a 5-gallon batch and it starts to get contaminated right around the connection where your airlock is, and then starts to go down and come down the side of your. That's the only time I've had them go bad, is when it's kind of like I did something wrong at the top, or I touched something, or I spread some dust or dirt, or I might have touched my mouth or did something, and that's the only time I've had them go bad. Otherwise, it's good. Okay, so bottle, you know, it has a little cup in it. You put the cup over the top of your bottle cap, and then you just press down gently till both sides seat, and you have just capped your bottle. Except this is not a beer bottle, this is a wine bottle, as you can see. And so I thought I'd use the American flag that stands out this year, and will work. And so kind of gently and thoughtfully, it is as simple as that. I told you this is not that difficult. It's very doable. The hardest part is making up your mind that you want to do it. You want to give it a try. It's very doable. You'll learn. And so with that, I wanted to say cheers, and I'll be back out in the garden next time getting ready for next year, harvesting or doing something. But thank you for watching. I hope to do more things like this just to show that resiliency. Keep with the theme of the channel, right? Grow something in any space, offset some of your costs, develop your independence, your resiliency, and your ability to produce. And so happy harvest, good luck, God bless, and I will see you on the next video.